Who really is Jarvis Davis?
Wow, that's a good question. When I think about like that question, right? Because for me, coming up in the city of Atlanta,
A1, A1, A1. Yeah, truly. Cooler and I'm flyer too. Jam. Cooler and I'm flyer too.
Welcome back to the show that's cool and fly too. A1 Forever Sports. I am Chris Tip Moore. Got a special guest today. Another interview. Would like to introduce to you guys Mr. Jarvis Davis, formerly of 92.9, but also doing his own thing. I'm about to bring him in right now and have this interview. Cooler and fly too. Why settle for less when you can have more with a vision? Welcome in Jarvis Davis, man. So I thank you so much for taking the time out to do this for me. And just for some people who may not know, which I don't know how, but just introduce yourself to me, to the fans for me.
all right. Just for you, if you don't know, like my guy Chris said, my name is Jarvis Davis. I am the host of Atl Day Ones podcast on all your audio platforms, wherever you get it, your podcast. You can find us right there. Part of Locked On Sports Atlanta on YouTube. I do a daily podcast with my co-host Tanisha Batiste, and also I used to work at a little old radio station down there in Midtown called 929 The Game. It's kind of where I cut my chops and learn how to be who I am, at this day, which I think is a pretty good person if I say so myself.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, man. Like okay, you gave a very, very well, put together introduction, but who really is Jarvis Davis?
Wow, that's a good question. When I think about like that question, right? Because, for me, coming up in the city of Atlanta, there are some things that, and I'm sure you can speak to this as well. There's we see things that we normally don't see. Like I've never seen a mayor that didn't look like me, like, in my lifetime, so, and then just how the city of Atlanta just is so different. Like I saw it from the stages of when early on when people didn't really know about it. Then you had the Freakniks and everybody started finding out what's going on in the city down there. And then next thing you know, you got the Olympics pop off. And then from an international standpoint, and then everybody just want to start moving down here. And then just to be able to grow up in this city and see certain things like that. My dad being from the west side of Atlanta, Perry Holmes, Carver Hill, represent. You know what I mean? Like, spending my summers over there with my grandmother and everything like that. So, and then moving into the east side, from Atlanta when I was in the fifth grade and grew up in Stone Mountain. So I got to kind of like, I always joke that I got the best of both worlds, right? Like I got the west side in me, I got a little east side in me. So, and you just put that all together, then I started playing football. And I was able to, get a scholarship to go to Albany State University, HBCU stand up, and then play ball there, played arena football for a little while. And then I decided that, hey, I got this business management degree. Let me go ahead and try to use that bad boy. All right, cool. Right. I started working there for a couple of years, and then it got to the point where I really felt like I wasn't being fulfilled in life. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, okay,
been there.
Let me pivot. Let me pivot. Okay, so this was right around the time when I started dating my current wife. And I was kind of talking. Now my man, appreciate you, brother. 10 years in the game, dog. Hey, we still working, man.
There we go.
Yeah. So it was one thing that kind of really stood out to me because she has, just to give you a little peek into my world, she has her PhD. She's an educator. So everything she's done in life has been through education. Is by taking certain steps to get somewhere in life, right? And for me, I was kind of feeling my way through. Like I got through high school, that was no problem at all. And then, playing football, I was like, all right, I'm about to go to the NFL. Let's do it. I'm going to the league.
Right.
Yeah. Like, nope, that didn't work out. I played arena football for a couple of years after I finished in college, but it was just a matter of, but I didn't necessarily go to school for that. Now, I did get schooling, Like I learned from my coaches. I learned the game from my coaches, and I'm forever in debt to them as to what they taught me, because that's how I'm able to do what I do today. Like, right, I'm able to talk about ball in a different way than a lot of people, because hey, I played the game. I understand it from I look at it from a different perspective, and people appreciate that. That's why I get paid to do it. I ain't gonna pat myself on the back, but that's what it is.
Correct.
But so I decided. So she was saying how, hey, like I've always gone through education, right, to do my way, because I thought about just going the internship route. Hey, let me just go up here to a radio station and say, hey, hire me. I play ball. I know what I'm talking about. Let's do it. But she encouraged me to say, hey, go find somewhere where you can maybe get like a certification. So that's what I did. I found the Connecticut School Broadcasting, and then I was able to go to school, go there. I got a certification in radio and television broadcasting, and then and that's when it kind of really started for me, where I found like what I feel like I was put on this earth to do, right? To run my mouth about sports. So once I got there, it was on and popping, man. And then that was back in 2010. So I finished in November of 2010 with the certification program, and I started interning at this super small station out in Covington, Georgia, and it was a inspirational station. And I was out there doing radio DJing. I was doing some DJing, and I was doing some production behind the scenes type stuff. We're helping different shows on Sundays, and that's how I got my start, man. I was doing, and they let me do sports updates. Hey, I would just go up there, record sports updates, and just do it, man. And I wouldn't get paid for it.
You didn't even necessarily jump right into sports. You had to take a whole alternative route to really get here.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like a lot of people that have been in the game for a lot longer than I did, I found this out when I first got started. It was that, and that's a lot of the routes that they're taking to get into the industry, right? It was that, because sports talk stations haven't been around for that long. When you actually thinking about it, because a lot of guys who are older than me, they started out in music, like, and then once the sports talk stations start popping off, like the first one I think it was WFAN up in New York, and it's one of the longest tenure stations in sports talk radio stations. So until those stations started popping up, music was the only option. So for me to get kind of started off where it's kind of cool or ironic that I got my start like that, because that's how a lot of guys got in the game.
Okay, nothing wrong with that. So it seems like of course you used to play sports like you just said, so it seems like you was inspired already by prior play. But as far as your job from then to present day, I'm talking about today, what has been the best and I would say most difficult parts about your job so far?
Wow. Well, I'll start with the best, because I'm a positive dude. When you think about the grind of it, because being a former athlete, I feel like it was always ways to get better as an athlete. Like you've never reached your pinnacle, and like the great football players, the guys who think like that, the ones that end up being great, they always say it's something that you can do to be better. Like they never get satisfied, they never get complacent with it. So from if you want to get in this broadcasting game, man, like you have to think like that. You have to think like an athlete. And some guys don't necessarily have that line of thinking. They just think they're just really good. And I've run into those people, and I'll talk about that in just a little bit. But I think the best part for me though has definitely been the grind, like the grind of it, like, and to kind of see and look back, not that I'm getting complacent where I am, but I have to realize like I've accomplished quite a bit, you know what I'm saying, to this point, you know what I'm saying? Cause like I've been in the game, since 2012, I got hired at Sports Radio 929 The Game, excuse me.
Right.
And we in 2022, so about 10 years. So, they say,
fast,
hey, yeah, man. So the time goes by fast. So, And you look up and like, dang, I remember days when I was sleeping in the radio station because I was working at multiple radio stations at a time, just trying to earn a living. You know what I mean? Because the money wasn't great in the beginning. I could just be honest, but yeah, the grind is definitely something that really I've been drawn to, and it kind of what keeps me going to this day. But as far as a negative side, I haven't really experienced that much, but the one thing that kind of gets me a lot of times that I come across, the negative experiences that I have had being in this industry is the fact that there are some people in this game that think really highly of themselves. Like they value themselves a lot more than what normal human beings should value themselves.
My ish don't stink, huh?
Yeah, basically, yeah, essentially, yeah. That's the vibe that I get, at least. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I kind of look at myself as people who I kind of like to observe a lot and kind of see how people move and everything like that, especially if I respect you.
Right.
So, but for the most part, though, I haven't run into too many of those people. But when you do run into them, you'll definitely know. And I've run into those people in my lifetime, and it's a bad vibe. It kind of turns you off a little bit, but as you say, like most of the people that I've met in this industry have been very open to answering questions. That's why I'm here with you, because I've reached out to people and they've talked with me and answered my questions, and guys who've been in the game for a long time who don't really have to give me their time. They've answered their questions and sat down with me and kind of broke bread with me and kind of gave me some pointers on what I need to do. So I think that's the aspect that I really appreciate. But, not too many negative experiences, but like I said, it's definitely been, hey, man, like, I understand you've accomplished a lot, but golly, you can't be humble at least for a little bit until I leave. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's just how it is. That's a game, but I get it. I've ran into some football players who thought they were good, and you had to kind of humble them a little bit. So, yeah. But I can't do that now. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
But
of course. Heck, yeah.
But eventually, you get humble though. I don't care what industry you work in. Yeah.
Right, man. I definitely understand that. I definitely feel that point, man. And I appreciate you, like I said, once again, for taking this time out. Because I reach out to people, I'm saying quite often and multiple times. And, sometimes I'm just, not responded back to, or most times I'm just not responded back to, or, they'll tell me, okay, yeah, wait until this time frame. And then that time frame will come and I'm back again. And next thing you know, I don't get any response. So like I said, I really appreciate you taking out the time to, do this interview for me. And, but I have some sports questions for you,
Okay.
Going to start with the Atlanta Falcons here, man. So
why we gotta start with them?
We got to, man. We got to. I ain't gonna lie. They when they ask me good news or bad news, I say bad news first. I say bad news first.
Yes, indeed. Yes, you are truly from Atlanta, my brother. Like if I had any doubt at all, but that you were from Atlanta, when you said that, that's how I know, man. You've been rocking with from the A since you came out of the room, my dog.
Bad news first, but yeah, man. So really and truly, now I've asked this question, but I'm gonna ask you: did Marcus Mariota really quit on the team?
Ooh, that's a good one. All right, so let me explain something. Like for me, like a lot of times I like to go with my gut. And my gut tells me, yeah. But when I take into my experiences, right, then I have to bring my experiences to the play. My experiences are being around Marcus Mariota and talking to him and asking him questions about certain things or whatever. He doesn't seem like that type of guy. However, we know in extreme situations, people can get out of character, right? And I think that's what happened in this particular case. I think that, because and it's funny how Arthur Smith handled it. I thought Arthur Smith handled it as probably as best as he could by the way he used it, the way he said, he was like, hey, he had a chronic knee issue. It was his prerogative to go get it checked out.
Like
So
if
what
when
now?
it comes to being interviewed, it seems like he's in a lot of bad situations where he has to answer a lot of tough questions.
And Arthur Smith is built to answer those questions. Let me tell you that first and foremost, because he's a really smart guy. He understands certain angle questions, and like he'll call it out like for what it is, and I like, you appreciate that but he is the guy that is transparent on top of that, right? Like you might not like him being calling you out for those certain things, but he is a guy that has been very transparent throughout this process, and you got to respect him for that. So I think that when you think about Marcus Mariota, in his mind, he probably felt like this was another opportunity to be a starter in the NFL, and I get that, totally understand that, but he didn't necessarily prove that right on the field, because at the end of the day, that's what we got to look at. Arthur Smith looked at all the film. He was there. He came up with the game plans. He had 13 games worth of evidence and said, you know what? It's time to make a change. And he probably had it in the back of his mind before that, because he said himself, he's been preparing Desmond Ridder for this situation for probably about the last 4 weeks. So we already know what time it is. Like this has been planned out. This is something that is not something that was just random, and he just didn't wake up and was like, man, you know what? I think I'm gonna change quarterbacks. No, Arthur Smith is not that guy. He's very methodical. He's very pointed in how he does things, and like I think overall he has a lot of respect for Marcus Mariota. That's why he was very forthcoming and said, hey, he let him know last week he wanted to be surprised coming back from the break and all that stuff. He let him know during the break, this is what it is. And I think Marcus Mariota made a decision for himself. Right. At the end of the day, I mean, like Arthur Smith said, you got to respect it. That's what it is.
Yeah. You really kind of got to. I mean, but
that don't mean you can't call it out, right? You can call it out. You can call a spade. But for me, I'm not gonna call the man out his name because he had a moment, right? Like if I would have lost my gig too, ain't nobody gonna be happy about it,
Hey, you're never happy losing your starting job. Hey man, it was a quote back in the movie. Hey man, never let a rookie take your starting job. So it's just
right,
and it's just that's what it is. I really feel like Marcus had this in the back of his mind, because I mean, come on now, since like what preseason. He's been hearing, let's see Ridder. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Growing more and more as the season went. But the more times that he won, the longer his leash was. So that was another thing, too. But, yeah, man, with Ridder coming in now, I feel like he should have came in sooner. But I do understand the reports of like back after like the Carolina game that he wasn't necessarily ready. Then on top of that, Mariota goes out and beats the Bears. So that's his leash again, getting a little longer.
But, of course.
But Mariota, I feel like he had that in the back of his mind. If he felt that way about his knee and everything, and when the coach told him, he like, okay, well, I had this in the back of my mind, so now I'm going to go get this done just in case I can have an opportunity to be, I guess, a starter. I don't know where he starts in this league anymore, but at least maybe a backup again,
Yeah, he could probably be a good backup. Atlanta. Yeah. Oh, his days are done in Atlanta. Like I wholeheartedly believe that he has worn that jersey for the last time. He won't. They will cut him and give him his little $2.5 million.
Yeah, something like that. Yep. And let it be that. I'm just really hoping that, it's only going to be a sample size, but just like I was speaking to Aaron Freeman earlier, man, I just hope that the sample size is good enough to where we're not looking at the draft at another quarterback. Because I'm pretty sure you've seen the reports about Will Levis or something like that. So I don't want to have to go get a quarterback. We don't have to. We have so many holes and pieces that need to be filled that I would love to spend a first round draft pick on, or second or even third. And
how about a guy who can sack the quarterback? How about that?
I'm always for that.
That'll work. Yeah.
And then the thing about it is, that's what I wanted this season. My thing is, okay, I like Drake London, now. But at the draft, I will say I was one of the guys that said, man, how you going to skip over Garrett Wilson for Drake London if you're going to go receiver? That was me. But
Right.
I initially wanted somebody on the line. I wanted I would have took Jermaine Johnson. I would have took Jordan Davis.
Oh,
You know, I
I
would have.
love Jermaine Johnson, man.
Yeah, I
Oh,
would have took either one of those guys.
dreaming about that dude. Yeah.
Man, I would
That
have
nigga
took.
was absolute monster. Yeah.
I would even would have
Yeah.
took. Man, I even would have took Thibodeau just because he's somebody coming after the quarterback, and you got
Yeah.
somebody with Grady. Man, getting like if you would have got Jordan Davis, I feel like you probably should have traded back if you was going to do something like that. But
Yeah, I would have taken Jordan Davis that high, but
yeah,
give me Jermaine Johnson. I don't care where he
yeah,
fell in the
man. I
draft. He's a
wanted
first round
Jermaine
talent.
Johnson.
I could give two blanks about him getting drafted, later on in the first round. I don't care about that. Like the
Right,
dude is a first round talent to me. I saw it for myself. Like I was down in the Senior Bowl, dude out there just kicking everybody behind and telling folks about it.
right,
Like that's the type of dude that the Falcons need. Like
right. You
they need
need
a
somebody with
guy
that
like
attitude.
something out of mean streak, man. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, so that's why I'm
As far
still,
as like mean streaks
yeah.
go, I think we haven't had that since. Dare I say, John Abraham?
Yeah, that ain't no dare you say, yeah. we ain't had no consistent passer rusher since John Abraham. That's a long freaking time ago, man. Like
I was still in
this,
school,
see,
so.
that's the Atlanta, the down we get, right. We got teased with Vic Beasley, right?
Oh God, the pastor.
Off in 2016. Just went off, led the league in forced fumbles, sacking the quarterback. We were just like, finally, we got somebody. And then he just lost all love for football and just went off into la la land. Now he playing in
He's
the
in the XFL.
Yeah, exactly. Now in the XFL. Like you go from being a first round draft pick to the XFL, man. Like, and then you produced in the league. He wasn't a bust necessarily.
Right.
I know
he had that season. He definitely
had that season. Like you
and that's in the
that.
record book, so you can't take that from him.
The man balled out in 2016 and helped the Falcons get to a doggone Super Bowl, which I will not talk about it further than that.
That's it.
We can move. Well, we ain't gonna even talk about that. But yeah, like he did his thing. But yeah, man, it's time for somebody in a black and red jersey for some people to fear or game plan for it. Oh, we got to worry about number such and such over there for the Falcons. That motherfucker can get to the quarterback. It seems like we always talking about who everybody else get. Like even for example, they played the New Orleans Saints on Sunday. Who we always talking about? Worried about Cameron Jordan.
Yep.
Every year. Cameron
I know some people down there, man. They saying Cam plans to come after Dez really, really hard this week.
Yeah, I mean his son plays for the Falcons, Caleb McGarry. You know, Cameron Jordan.
Chill, man.
Yeah. I'll be looking for it too. If I'm going against my son every play, yeah, you're doggone right. I'll be looking forward to it because, hey, look, my son wants some doggone money. So, hey, in order for me,
Caleb has improved, though, man. Caleb has improved.
Yes. He's still struggling in pass protection. I'm sorry. He still struggles. He still struggles with the same stuff. But run game, no doubt, he has. He's had his best year. He got upset.
That's where he's made his bread and butter this year. That run game,
no doubt.
Give Caleb.
I can respect it. Yeah, because he was either that or be out the league.
Hey, and he still may be in trouble.
He chose wisely. You know what I mean? Like I would be surprised if the Falcons bring him back. To be honest with you. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. He still may be in trouble because we don't bring him back. I mean, he can still he's still serviceable. Man, you see guys who be journeymen who still have careers.
He'll find a job somewhere. Yeah.
Definitely.
If the Falcons don't bring him back, he'll find some money somewhere.
Former first rounder.
Yeah. They traded up for him. They traded into the first round to get him. Yes.
I'm not gonna lie to you. When we did that, I had to go look up who he was. I didn't know who Caleb McGarry was. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
And I still didn't know who he was until now. Just keep it funky. Like, let's keep it funky, man. Like, yeah. I'm glad he got right in his contract year.
Right.
Good for you. You get some money that can change your life. I can respect that.
All about, right?
Do your thing, my brother. I wish I had a chance to do it.
Right. Hey, man. Yeah. Well, thank you so much again, JD, man. I really appreciate you, man. This was very fun for me. And I would hope to do this again one day. And, you know what I'm saying, I want to say good luck to you guys, the Locked On, you know what I'm saying, network, and just everything that you're doing, man. Just keep going. I already know, you know what I'm saying, you're staying focused, you're staying busy, and just, you know, congratulations to you and just good luck to you.
I appreciate you having me on, my brother, and you know how to get in contact with me, man. Let's do it.
Definitely will be on there, man. We'll definitely be at you very shortly. And thank you again.
A1. Yeah, truly. Cooler and I'm flyer too. Jam. Cooler and I'm flyer